Hello everyone. Book of Answers. A lot of people are wondering what's going to happen with Bitcoin. So I thought I'd let the book tell us what's going to happen. So the two most popular questions I hear are as follows. Is Bitcoin going below $5,000 US before the end of the year? Or is Bitcoin going over $10,000 US before the end of 2017? So let's ask those questions, okay? Is Bitcoin going above $10,000 before the end of the year? As right as a trivet, Oscar Wilde, The Importance of Being Earnest. So if I use my computer to look up these literary references, the amazing thing about the written word is that words can mean many things. And that's sometimes a problem when we read things online. It's because when I'm talking to you, usually from how I'm saying things, you can determine what I mean. Whereas if I write something, it could be interpreted differently by different people. And sometimes people will be offended when you really weren't writing something that was meant to offend. And so the context and it goes a long way in determining what somebody means. The nice thing about online is that you can find these references, I won't say easily, but with a little bit of digging, I can look them up. So if we look at the first reference, as right as a trivet, well, the trivet is what you would basically place between, if you're going to put a hot pot onto your table, right, at Thanksgiving or at dinner time, you would basically put something, usually a piece of metal or wood or something that would keep the heat from the pot from damaging your table. So it would have to be something real sturdy, real capable. So when they say as right as a trivet, you know that it has to be durable, correct. It has to be pretty sturdy. So something dependable that you know is going to work. So as right as a trivet, you would have to say that that statement is going to be true. Okay, the next question. Is Bitcoin going below $5,000 this year? Assume, you shall assume. Walt Whitman, Song of Myself. And what I assume, you shall assume. It's from the Walt Whitman poem, Song of Myself, from 1855. Me personally, I have difficulty with poems really understanding what poets are trying to say, especially poems from 160 years ago. And so the first paragraph of the poem, this is the opening paragraph, it starts out, I celebrate myself, and celebrate is in capital letters. And what I assume, you shall assume, for every atom belonging to me as good belongs to you. I found a very good explanation online. Now whether it's correct or not, I don't know. And I don't see the feller's name in here. But what he was saying is back then, the United States was growing up. It was coming to age. And I'll just read what he wrote here. And he goes, so why should I care about this poem? He goes, if you are an American or know anything about America, you will likely know and understand this poem. even before you read a single line. No other poem so perfectly encapsulates all the noise, confusion, and grandeur of the American idea as well as this one. Put simply, you should care about Song of Myself because it's about you. That's right. Whitman wasn't only writing about himself, a guy from Long Island. So I'll skip down a little bit. So just look at how Song of Myself begins. I celebrate myself, and what I assume you shall assume. For every atom belonging to me as good belongs to you. Now, this is what I was saying before. Now, the word assume can be meant to mean believe or take for granted. But it can also mean to take on or to become. And this second meaning becomes increasingly important throughout this poem, as Whitman tries to unite his identity with all different kinds of people, including the reader. So if we read it with the second understanding of being to take on, like to take on a burden, to assume, and what I assume you shall assume. Does that fit? Or what I become, you shall become. Or what I believe, you will believe. Or what I take for granted, you take for granted. And if you read into these things, maybe that means because so many people believe it's going there, it's going to go there. So it's possible that the price could drop below $5,000 and then go above $10,000 this year. And if that's true, make sure you buy, but when it hits down below $5,000. As I've said before, the Literary Book of Answers, it's for entertainment. It's not something that I use to make any major decisions. And it's also a really good way to reference literary works of art that a lot of them have been forgotten. So it's really an interesting book. And it's also great with friends and family at parties, at get-togethers, because you have a lot of fun. You have a lot of fun passing the book around and asking various questions. It's great entertainment. I strongly recommend this book. It's the Literary Book of Answers by Carol Bolt. Well, that's what the book has to say. We'll find out if it's right or if it's wrong. Have a great day.